What's up, you guys? Sean Moss Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, April 14th edition. I am here with Rob McCarron, finally here with Rob McCarron. Google had some technical difficulties, but we are here for you guys. Rob, how are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, the Google didn't want us to record tonight. I don't know why.
Your hot takes.
They were trying to muzzle the hot takes, and they didn't want us discussing, I don't know what, Emma's great entrance? I don't know.
The greatest WWE.com content of all time, perhaps.
Sure.
Did you see the photo shoot they posted earlier today?
No, I did not.
Oh my God. It was magnificent, Rob.
Oh, the belts. Yeah.
Yeah. They had current superstars posing with the classic championships, the WWF Winged Eagle Championship, the European title, the old school tag team titles, which we have spoken about them bringing back, that they needed to bring those back, and the hideous former women's championship, perhaps the only one that doesn't look better than what replaced it eventually. But yeah, that championship is a thing of beauty, that WWF Winged Eagle Championship. And when you don't see it for almost 20 years on a regular basis, it really puts that in perspective, Rob.
Yeah, the Winged Eagle, I think, is my favorite. As far as the world titles, the big gold belt is great. I kind of like the simplicity of the old NWA world title too.
The NWA United States Championship was another beauty.
Yeah, so I'm a fan of the old ones. I think it's a cool thing. But nostalgia's great. You know, you can say go back to all the old belts. They're not going to. I like the new belts just fine. The tag team titles are gross, but other than that, everything's kind of okay.
Yeah, I thought this was a great idea for WWE.com. Very rarely will you hear me going on and on about a WWE.com photo gallery, but this is pretty cool. And they even had Kevin Owens and his son with the tag team championships, which and Kevin Owens said this photo shoot was his probably his favorite photos wrestling related in the world. So that's pretty cool. Good idea, but it really puts in perspective how bad some of the championships since then have looked, Rob.
Yeah, I suppose so. But you know, they're a marketing company. They sell this stuff. They're going to have new titles coming out, and people are buying the new ones. If they weren't, they would make new belts. So as long as people keep buying these belts, they're going to keep them. And then 2 years down the road, we'll probably have new tag team titles or new something. Yeah, it's all about marketing. It's all about being able to sell a new thing.
Either way, I thought it was a fantastic look at things like that. I mean,
the website does a fantastic job of getting you to go there. I mean, whether it's photo galleries like this, whether it's stories, they do a fantastic job of getting you to go to the website. The website is pretty well run.
Truly hideous. The website.
The website itself, the layout is not very good. That's true. But the content within it, the one thing why people are complaining about the layout so badly is because they want to get to the content inside of it and they can't. They want to go there and find these things, but it's troubling that you can't use it, perfectly well. But Joey Styles does a good job of keeping that website going.
We had SmackDown tonight. Not a lot worth talking about. The Sami Zayn, Chris Jericho match was very fun. What made it even more fun was Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose on commentary. That was a joy.
Yeah, it was a fun show to watch. There's not a lot worth talking about, but that doesn't mean it was good or nothing happened.
Yeah, it was easily digestible.
It was worth watching, but it's SmackDown. That's what, the glory days of SmackDown were this. It's a good show to watch. You want to watch it. There's a lot of good stuff going on, but in the grand scheme of things, none of it was relating to what was happening on the other show. Raw is where things happen. SmackDown is where the wrestling happens, and it's starting to get back to that.
Also on the show, AJ Styles versus Del Rio. There were reports that Styles got hurt. He is not hurt. I can confirm that for a fact. He is not hurt. He's still ready to go. But that reverse superplex, that looked filthy.
It looked hideous. Good that he's not hurt. It looked bad. Instead of going, up and over, they went straight down, and it's not something you want to do when you're getting your neck bent like that. Yoshitatsu knows that super well from the hands of AJ Styles. Luckily they're not hurt because the injury bug is hitting them, it seems, again.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a moment. Also, Enzo and Cass and the Vaudevillains advance in the NXT Tag Team Tournament. I'm all for that. I think that those were probably good calls, especially given who they faced. This also caused one of the better Golden Truth segments that have happened, with basically just Fandango and Goldust shaking their dongs for 20 seconds. Cool, man. That's cool. Paige versus Emma. Emma for her, Paige hasn't been beating anybody, but still, to a casual viewer, this might be a rather big win for Emma, who we put over constantly on this show.
No, I think it's important. I think Paige is pretty established in that division where beating her means something. It's a big win for Emma. Absolutely. It's a sign that they're going to do something with her. They're going into the match with Becky. Will she just be there to put Becky over as Becky stays on top? I don't know. I could very well see Emma winning that one too. Especially if you end up having a face champion at some point, whether it's Sasha Banks or even Becky Lynch. Yeah, Emma's great. She's earning the TV time, and she's much better served up there right now than NXT.
Oh, yeah. And I loved how they finished the match. It wasn't like with any huge move. She just dropped her face first across the turnbuckle, pinned her. I like that. I like the unpredictability of something like that. Also, I really like that they're doing secondary feuds with the women. And if that wasn't enough, Emma cut a really good inset promo to start this off, where she said that she used to be the quirky girl. She used to be the bubbly girl. She used to be the girl next door, always happy. And she got rejected for it by the WWE. Then Becky Lynch came to the WWE, did the same thing, and was accepted. And that she was going to show Becky Lynch that nice girls finish last. I thought that was awesome. I don't know. I'm sure it was written for. They did a damn good job with that. It goes to show you these talents don't need 20 minutes. They don't need 15 minutes. They don't need 10 minutes or even 5 minutes to get their character over. It's a pretty quick explanation for most of these people. And Emma is one of those people that will really benefit for things like that.
And it goes to show you too that giving a backstory to something, even if it's as simple as this, where Emma was tired of being rejected for what Becky Lynch is now doing, so she's going to take it out on Becky. That's all you need to do. It's great. You're right. They're secondary women's feuds. It's great that they're giving backstories to all of them and not just one and then throwing the rest of them together. They're hitting a home run with this Emma and Becky thing. I just hope that they do more of it on Raw, because right now it's been relegated pretty much to SmackDown.
Speaking of Raw, there might be some time opening up soon because Bray Wyatt got hurt. We talked a little bit about it last night. He did not wrestle today. This is rough. I mean, also something I'll talk about this in a minute. They are very light on the heel side. Bray Wyatt just turned babyface. Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman, I don't think can carry themselves. What happens to Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman? We don't know how long Bray's out, but what would happen to them if he was out for several months? Do they just sit?
I don't know if they sit. I think they make them a tag team and they're just kind of holding the water until Bray gets back. I think they make them a heel tag team probably. And they're working a lot of superstars matches. They're working a lot of main event matches. Yeah. I don't see them working Raw very much, but I could see them doing the Harper Rowan thing, because before Harper and Rowan got back with Bray Wyatt, they were on superstars and main event, but they weren't losing. So it's not like they were really hurting. A lot of the guys that are on superstars and main event, they're 50-50. Yes. Harper and Rowan were not. They were dominating. Yeah, they're going to wrestle the Ascension a lot, and they're going to work on the house shows and try to get better.
Imagine that match?
It's going to be bad, but that's what you got to do. That's what you're going to do. So I don't know. We'll see. If Bray's out for a long period of time, it's going to suck. They're light on the heel side. We'll see when Randy Orton gets back. I wouldn't be shocked if they bring Kane back and try to make him a big time heel again. and
Yeah.
it'll make Kane more important.
Man,
It's troubling. It's troubling. I know.
I mean, look at it. Based on who has been on the television show the last 2 weeks, who's the top confirmed heel? Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho.
Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho are 1 and 2, and then you have Baron Corbin probably slotted in right now at number 3.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Unless you want to say that the League of Nations guys are higher up on the pecking order. Speaking
of reports this week, they may be splitting up very soon.
Well, at this point, you have to, right? If the Wyatts are gone, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no need for that. And let's be real, all 3 of them are more valuable individually anyway. Maybe not Sheamus, but I don't know how much value he has at this point anyway. Rusev, definitely.
I would, I want them to do something with Rusev, but it doesn't look like they're going to. I would say Alberto Del Rio, probably the most likely candidate to actually move up and actually be a single. But, you got Baron Corbin there, might be the best thing to happen to Baron Corbin. The slot is opened up. Give him the big push and see where he takes it. None of this Dolph Ziggler stuff after Payback. Give him something real. Give him Sami Zayn. Give him Cesaro. Push him all the way up to Roman Reigns for all I care. It might be time. It's probably the best thing for him that now there's a spot opened up.
I'm with you. By the way, guys, if you're watching the YouTube feed, give us a thumbs up on there and subscribe to the YouTube page. We have exclusive interviews. We have exclusive clips. We have, of course, podcasts Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So definitely subscribe to the page. This show, as always, brought to you by ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc and trendybutler.com. Go over there, use the coupon code Wrestling10, support the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Also, Rob, we have a big 3 weeks ahead starting next Saturday. Next Saturday's UFC 197. John Jones and OSP, Mighty Mouse and Cejudo. Then the next weekend, I believe it's WWE Payback. Then the next weekend, I think it's Ring of Honor's pay-per-view. So, that kind of just crept up right after WrestleMania. We had the couple of weeks off, we had the New Japan show. So, I mean, I guess this is kind of a crammed pay-per-view schedule. When I was making the announcements for the website, I was like, wow, UFC 197 next weekend already. But yeah, a pretty packed spring season. Do you know if anything's been announced for that ROH pay-per-view yet?
I don't think officially announced, except that we're probably going to get a Tomohiro Ishii TV title match of some kind. Yeah. I don't even know if, I'm honestly not adept to any of the spoilers for TV, so I don't know what they're building to.
Yes, they spoiler free as well.
I stay it, not even because I try. I just don't actively seek out Ring of Honor spoilers. Yeah. There's not even a talent to be announced yet. Like right now, they're just saying ROH and New Japan stars will be announced, but they haven't announced any, and there's no one on the poster. So we'll probably get a Tomohiro Ishii title match. We're probably going to get the world title on the show as well. I don't expect Okada to be in a singles match. He'll probably be in some type of tag. And we'll probably get maybe even Yoshitatsu on the show. Maybe he's going to travel over and do a never 6-man title match of some kind, maybe. But nothing official yet for that ROH show.
Also, guys, send in your questions using the hashtag Wrestling Inc. podcast. Give us some more stuff to talk about and ask any questions you want.
And sorry, we were
just not about Rob eating hats.
No, because I won't have to ever. Hockey playoffs have started. The Blackhawks, they lost the first game, right? So maybe CM Punk will be able to get back to training earlier than he thought. We'll see. Sorry.
Well, the Cubs are doing well, so maybe he won't.
Cubs are doing well too. Yeah. But there's 162 games. I mean, he's a Cubs fan, but he's not going to have to give away everything. Hockey season's different. He's going to every game. But I did want to, apologies for us being late today. Google didn't want us to broadcast. It's a shame. So a little bit of an abbreviated show, but get your questions in. We'll answer all of them.
Absolutely. Somebody asked, is ROH and New Japan going to be a joint show? Yes, that's a joint.
The Global Wars. Show. Yep, Global Wars joint pay-per-view show. Again, no talents announced, but you could probably expect the regulars, Okada, Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, maybe even Tetsuya Naito. Naito might be on the show, maybe. He's been on the shows before, but didn't come for the last round. And then I would expect Ishii to defend the TV title, which he hasn't lost yet. So you kind of got to do that. And the Young Bucks will be on the show too.
Somebody says, is John Jones pound for pound the best fighter on the planet? Yes, without a doubt. No question about it. If he had spent the last year in prison based on that hit and run, he could have rolled out of a prison bed and beaten anybody in the light heavyweight division. I fully believe that without a doubt in my mind. That's how good he is. In MMA, I look at everybody and I'm like, they're going to get beat. They're going to get beat. John Jones might never get beat. Even though he almost lost to Gustafsson, he might not get beat. He did not train very much for that fight at all. He showed up out of shape. He showed up at his camp out of shape. So yeah, without a doubt, John Jones, best fighter in the world. Somebody asks, how well do you think the reintroduction of Maurice has been? I wonder how much her social media posting helped convince the WWE to bring her back. I think it's been really good, especially that backstage segment the other night.
No, what convinced the WWE to bring her back was the fact that the Bellas were gone. And that's the thing. The Bellas have been keeping her out of WWE for years. And, they're on the road together. It's probably great that they're on the road together and that they both get paid for it. But she's been excellent. I mean, she's exactly what she was before. You're going to hate her for speaking French. You're going to hate her for looking down on you. And that heat travels to The Miz. And the segment on Raw that they did was absolutely fantastic. The way she introduced The Miz tonight was fantastic. They're quite a pair, and it's rejuvenating, Mizanin for sure.
I'll tell you something else that's rejuvenating.
Oh,
ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc.
Maurice's return is rejuvenating DDP Yoga.
It's rejuvenating The Miz, and ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. rejuvenates me, my friends. Every morning I wake up, my spine a little stiff. I wake up, I do the wake up workout. It's fantastic. Helps get me ready for the day. Always do the spine stretches. It's great. You know who else does? John Cena, AJ Styles. Shawn Michaels did it when he came back from his first back injury.
It saved AJ tonight for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. You've seen it practically save the lives of Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts. So go over to ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. Get a great deal in the Max Pack. Check out any of their merchandise. Of course, drop DDP and DDP Yoga a tweet. Let them know that we sent you. I brought up Jake the Snake Roberts and how it saved his life. You can see how it saved his life by checking out The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Excellent documentary now available on Vudu, PlayStation Network, Google Play, iTunes, all over the place. Video on demand everywhere. Check that out. Of course, also stop by trendybutler.com. Use the coupon code Wrestling10, all caps. Support the show, my friends. Speaking of Shawn Michaels, he was on Vince Russo's podcast, and he talked about how he got in such great shape. And I promise I won't turn it into a DDP Yoga segue. Apparently, 6 weeks before WrestleMania, Vince McMahon calls Shawn Michaels up and lays out the plan. The WrestleMania plan. He says it's going to be you, Mick Foley, Steve Austin. You're all going to be in your gear. I want HBK back. And Shawn Michaels said, well, I'd rather just wear my jeans and a t-shirt. I'm in okay shape, but I'd rather wear jeans and a t-shirt. Vince says, no, everybody's got to be in their gear. I want you in shape. Well, as you know, Mick Foley's gear is what he wears just in general. And clearly Steve Austin was not in shape. So Shawn Michaels said that by the time he got there, he had been doing 2-a-days and he had cut his calories down in the last week down to 1,400. He said he was in one of the best shapes of his life. And he knew that as soon as he saw the shape that Steve Austin was in, that Vince McMahon fed him a line of shit. So, yeah, that's a story about Shawn Michaels getting in such great shape. That was pretty surprising to me.
Yeah, and Foley got in pretty good shape for him too. But you're right. I mean, he could have looked however he was going to look. HBK got the small end of that stick. or the small stick. The small
Speaking
straw.
of, yeah, Mick Foley did use that ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc to drop 50 pounds for WrestleMania. Yeah. Somebody, okay, yeah, this Bullet Club thing. Did you see the video that WWE posted on their YouTube where they were very liberally throwing around the Bullet Club name?
Yeah, but how were they throwing it around? Were they saying these
With a
two were
hash?
members? These two were members of the Bullet Club, or these two are members of the Bullet Club?
They posted a bunch of tweets where people were using the hashtag Bullet Club. Then they used hashtag Bullet Club in their video title. Very interesting. And let's be real. I don't think New Japan's going to sell them the rights to it.
No.
But if there were ever a time to do that, now would be a good time.
If WWE offered and ponied up a lot of money for the trademark and the rights to use the name, and New Japan thought maybe they have information that the clothing, the merchandise is kind of slowing down in sales, and maybe let's cash in right now with the big payday, maybe they would do it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the merchandise is still selling pretty well. You got a new face of the team too with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, so there's reason that there's new life into that merchandise and that club.
How much you keep up with New Japan a little more than me. How much have they really been seen together of late, though? It seems like they've all.
Who?
It looks like Fale, the Bullet Club. It seems like Fale's doing his own thing.
Oh, the
Elite are doing theirs, and then of course Guerrillas of Destiny.
Right now, they're all separate, basically. You have the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, which are going out there with Cody Hall as the Elite, and then you have. You had the series where they were doing 5 on 5, the 10-man tags, the road twos, where they're all a unit. But as far as the big shows go, they're not coming out, all 6, 7, 8 of them at the same time like they used to. Eventually, they're going to all break off. It's just going to happen. Now, whether they drop the Bullet Club name, specifically and completely, that may not happen. They may still have some type of version of it. I just don't see it coming to WWE. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they want to lose those rights.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But like you said, if WWE offers them some obscene amount of money, I'm sure WWE could recoup that.
And let's face it right now too. New Japan is in no mood to be doing WWE favors.
True.
They let WWE use television footage to get over Finn Balor when he came in. But they did not let him use anything for Shinsuke. They're a little sour. As they
should be.
They're a little sour. So they're in no mood right now, even if the money was good, to lose their stubbornness and help Vince out.
I mean, by all means, 5 of their biggest stars, Nakamura, AJ Styles, Anderson Gallows, and perhaps to an extent Kota Ibushi, if he appears in the Cruiserweight series, have left them to work with this company.
Yeah, and that's after losing Devitt, a couple years prior. The ownership group losing Hideo Itami a couple of years prior because, they are also, part owners of Pro Wrestling Noah. So they've lost a lot of talent. They're about to lose Zack Sabre Jr., who they had in Noah, even though he wasn't really doing anything. It hasn't been a good time for them with talent. I don't really think they're upset too much. AJ was never going to be a long-term thing. He probably lasted longer than they thought. But yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura, losing him is a big deal. He's a huge draw for them. One of the biggest stars, if not the biggest star. They're going to be sour for a while. And yeah, you're right. I don't blame them.
Somebody asks on Twitter, Sean and Rob, I have a couple of journalism-related questions for you. What is the most important thing that you have done in journalism? And then the follow-up says, or that you're most proud of. And then what are you all most proud of doing in the ring if you've done anything? Ooh, I'd say probably the Muhammad Hassan article was my favorite, and a couple of matches I had with my wrestling coach. Rob?
In the ring, I don't know. I was proud just to work with some of the coolest talents. Like, I've been in the ring with Cesaro, AJ Styles, Chuck Taylor, working a lot and seeing the mind of Jimmy Jacobs and knowing how well he would fit in WWE creative and how he's been there a year now. Some of the cool stuff, just meeting the different people has been really fun. In journalism, I don't know. I mean, for the Observer last year or 2 years ago now, I got invited to the WWE Performance Center and got a tour of the Performance Center for a little bit. and got to talk with Bill DeMott, who at the time was the head coach, for something we did with the Observer. So that was probably the coolest thing in recent memory that I've done in journalism, if you will. But just having the platform, being able to do these audio shows with you, being able to do my own audio show. I think that stuff, building an audience with that's probably the most I'm happy about.
Also, somebody asks, well, it's the same person. What was the first thing that you broke, or the first inside story? The first inside story that I did, I think, was finish of Night of Champions 2014. At least that was for Wrestling Inc. So, and I mean, really the places I was at before then didn't really do the breaking news type of thing.
I broke the Brock Lesnar coming back story.
Did you?
Yeah.
Damn.
It helped that I was there and I saw him, but no, I didn't necessarily have a platform at the time. You know, we were doing it on message boards, but and Tyler Black signing with WWE just because he was a friend, telling everyone that he was leaving, and then 3 days later Meltzer gets it. That kind of stuff, just because you know, Sean, you meet people, you hear from them before it's out there. But the Brock Lesnar one coming back was the Thursday before WrestleMania. Saw him arriving to the place, and from talking with people knew that he was coming back and he was going to appear on Monday. And then Monday happens and he comes back, and no one had it, I think, until that Saturday. So we were a couple days up on that. And I'm not trying to brag, just sometimes you're in the right spot at the right time. That's really a story of being in the right place at the right time. Because if I'm anywhere else, 5 steps away, all course of history may be different. So it's all about being at the right place at the right time sometimes.
Man, and the anticipation for that moment just all weekend. People were ready for it on Sunday.
Well, because by Sunday, people knew what was up. It had gotten around even further. I emailed Dave, who at the time I was kind of feeding him information. I emailed Dave on the Friday after, I go through a day of knowing what's happening. Email him on the Friday, say, hey, look into this, not giving him everything, just look into it. And then by Saturday, he had it up on the website that Brock was in town. And then everyone's expecting, if he's in town, he for sure is coming in. So Sunday, people were ready for it. And then Monday happens. And not everyone is expecting Brock necessarily, but they know something big might happen. And then Brock Lesnar shows up at the end of Raw when half the arena is expecting it for sure, and then the other half thinks, no way it's going to happen. And there you go. Sometimes it's cool like that. I can still enjoy. I think that's the biggest thing. I can still enjoy moments that I know are going to happen. You and I knew that the Bullet Club was coming out on Raw and the Usos segment on Monday night, but we could still enjoy when it happens. I'm not one who's, this has been ruined for me because of spoilers or news. I can still enjoy the moment when it plays out.
And WWE has gotten very good over the last few months in particular at still keeping me on the edge of my seat. And probably it's because of the workers involved. Like we talked about the Sami Zayn Nakamura match. I knew 100% Nakamura was winning that match. But when Sami Zayn hit a Blue Thunder Bomb, I bought it as a finish, even though it's not finished to anybody. You just never know. And I still can remove myself and enjoy it. I think we should do a podcast one time, because that gets me thinking about our favorite post-Mania Raw moments. Because there's plenty.
There are.
Dating all the way back to Sid turning on Shawn Michaels, which was really the first.
I think the one I would put Brock Lesnar coming back at number 1, but I think number 2 is the night DX reformed. That's a post-Mania Raw right there when X-Pac, Billy Gunn, and Road Dogg.
Steve Austin choosing the hard way.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a good one.
There's a lot of them. I just, AJ Styles, we knew for 3 weeks that he was coming in, but the fact you don't know when, you don't know how, so you can still be surprised by things. The Bullet Club, we knew they were coming in, but you don't know how, you don't know when. You can still, enjoy moments when they happen.
What do you think their name's going to be?
Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
A collective tag team name?
Nailed it. Oh, I don't know. Doesn't look like Balor Club at this point.
No.
They're not going to call him Machine Gun. We know that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. Probably. I don't even know. I can't even begin to.
I was even.
I'm telling you, I keep looking at the trademark website to see what's trademarked because boom, as soon as you see that, that's going to be the name. The fact that they weren't on SmackDown, the fact that they weren't referenced by any tag team name on Raw tells me that they probably don't even know yet.
Yeah. And I'm surprised they even let them use the name Magic Killer for their finish because they switched up the name of the Calf Killer, AJ Styles finish to the Calf something. I don't know. It's really...
Well, they went back to the Calf Crusher.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of using the term Calf Killer, and Calf Crusher works too. People were all upset because just that's what he was naming it in Japan. Calf Crusher was a name before Calf Killer too.
I mean, it's called a calf cutter in MMA. I mean, it's a legit technique.
Absolutely. But Magic Killer, you're right. And that may not end up being the name. You know, Michael Cole used that once. Maybe they didn't even know to change that name. You know, so I could still see them changing that get up at some point too. It's interesting though. I'm looking forward to Raw. Like, who would have thought? You know, 6 months ago, I thought Guns and Gallows were old and stale, and I wanted them off my shows. And here they are now. We're looking forward to them as one of the hottest acts on Raw.
Yeah, I agree. And last week's Raw was decent. Last week's SmackDown was good. This week's Raw was good. This week's SmackDown was decent. That's a pretty good stretch for the WWE in this day and age to be able to do that.
It's been fun. This week was great.
I loved it. I thought Raw was excellent.
Yeah.
Of course, there were a couple little plot holes, and of course, we always have people on Monday. Oh, why are you bitching? It was a great show. It doesn't mean that there aren't holes in the show. It's a 3-hour show. That's going to happen.
You can still enjoy Breaking Bad, enjoy Better Call Saul, enjoy all these shows, and know that there are some things you don't like about him. You don't have to go in saying this is perfect no matter what. I don't care. You don't have to be super fanboy or super fangirl about something. You can critique and still like it. And that happens all the time. And sometimes I let things go if I really enjoyed the show. And I did on Monday. You know, I'm going to let go. I can even make excuses for myself. Like, you know, there are people up on this Kevin Owens not getting the rematch. Why would he not get the rematch? Well, guess who denied it to him? Shane McMahon, who isn't going to be in charge next week, or shouldn't be in charge next week based on his job. Shane didn't have to follow the rules. Kevin Owens can appeal that decision to whoever's in power later. I'm perfectly fine with him not getting his automatic rematch because what does Shane care? He's on here. He's here as a whim. He's a lame duck. So some of these plot holes that people call out, you can still kind of fit into logic in certain ways.
Also, do you think that anywhere down the line, I had somebody float this to me and I was like, you know what, that could be fun. Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon. Do they clash?
Make out or what?
Do they make out on Raw?
Like what? I mean, in a match? No, Shane's done.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah, he wanted to do it one time for the kids. He's a 45-year-old man. He's a businessman. He's done. He's never wrestling.
Good way to go out in that match.
The Undertaker.
That's fine.
Absolutely. You know, he ended up winning that match because he got control of Raw and the Undertaker's gone. So he ended up winning. He's not wrestling again, and he's certainly not wrestling Kevin Owens.
One more thing, Rob, and I'll let you go before I talk a little MMA because I know you are on a tight schedule, my friend.
Google really messed us up.
They did. This Kalisto non-injury. Why? Why did that happen? Kalisto, if you all didn't know, is not hurt. The whole thing was just WWE doing something, which means that they evidently knew that a terrible match was going to come of this because it was a bad match.
It was weird because people weren't reacting like you would think if they knew it was a planned thing, or maybe they were just told, hey, you know, have it go to shit just because. I don't know. Maybe they'll do Sin Cara versus Kalisto for the U.S. title. Maybe this will be, you know, Sin Cara. Oh, now that you're a singles champion, you don't care about the team. You're sitting out non-injuries. You're playing hurt. I think this could lead up to a singles feud between them and the Lucha Dragons may be done, because otherwise I have no idea.
Yeah, I thought this was super weird. Just have Sin Cara take the fall. That's it. Just have him take a pinfall. I get it.
They did the week before. He was the one who lost to the Vaudevillain, so it's not like they were afraid of that.
Yeah, and it's just I didn't get it. It didn't make any sense. Maybe they're just trying to do something different.
Yeah.
But it was just, I don't know. It was a weird, different thing to do. That's one of those different things that just wasn't good. It just wasn't good.
Wasn't good.
Rob, tell the people where they can follow you on Twitter, what you're up to, things like that before you head off.
At Shake Them Ropes, at Shake Them Ropes on Twitter. We are doing a ton of things. Go follow me and find out everything that I am doing when I'm not spending my time on Wednesday and Thursday nights with Sean Ross Sapp. And, go Jake Hamill, man. Just get it done.
Geez, the Reds are now down 8-0. I am sick of this. Rob, my friend, thank you for joining me.
All right.
I will see you next Wednesday.
See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Guys, as I mentioned, lots of UFC coming up soon. Wanted to talk a little bit about that. If you didn't see, Lyoto Machida, of all people, he didn't fail a drug test. He failed a drug screening. What the UFC does is they have you fill out a screen before your fight. And he was scheduled to fight Dan Henderson this Saturday on Fox. And he mentioned that he was taking a supplement which had DHEA in it, which is banned. He claims it was banned in 2016. That is not true. And he can't fight now. Now, by all means, this UFC on Fox card, and UFC hates when they lose fights that they promise to Fox. It is a big thing for them to keep those fights. And they lost out on Henderson versus Machida. They lost out on Nurmagomedov versus Ferguson. And now Rashad Evans versus Glover Teixeira is the main event. Glover Teixeira and Rashad Evans could be a snoozer. A lot of these fights could be. At this point, they're probably putting Rashad on TV because if you're paying to watch Rashad Evans fight in 2016, you probably haven't watched him in the last 5 years because very rarely is he exciting. The unfortunate thing is Lyoto Machida, often like that as well. That fight with Dan Henderson could have either been really exciting or really boring. The new co-main event is Tisha Torres versus Rose Namajunas. I think this fight's going to be fantastic, unbelievable, two high-level female 115-pound fighters. Sad reality is a lot of casual fans just don't get into that, and the lighter weight fighters don't have the same knockout power, so that one may go to the distance. Then we have Nurmagomedov, who is fighting a guy named Daryl Horcher that they just signed. Nurmagomedov hasn't fought in 2 years. He's had his knees just completely wrecked, and I think a tune-up fight is underutilized in MMA, and Daryl Horcher is a good person for that, and he is no slouch. Don't get me wrong, but Nurmagomedov is a wrestler, and he has taken down guys that could make it to the top 15 20 times in a single fight. So this could be a long, not so exciting UFC on Fox show. So I know that the UFC is kind of bummed out about that. Here's the thing. Machida being popped for this substance. They are popping everybody. Yoel Romero proved that his supplement was tainted, but he's been suspect for a while. Even last year before USADA took over, Anderson Silva got caught. John Jones got caught doing recreational drugs. Nick Diaz got caught doing recreational drugs. But recently, Frank Mir got caught. I mean, we have this new drug testing in the UFC is a real thing, and it is really affecting the company. They're having to change fights at the last minute. Major cards. These Fox cards are a big deal to the UFC. So, yeah, this it's working, and ultimately it's a good thing. But yeah, you get Lyoto Machida failing a drug test, and you got to wonder, are some of these guys hanging around too long? I've never been a fan of Lyoto Machida's style, not my type of thing. But either way, in a week and a half, we do have UFC 197 coverage, John Jones versus OSP. Main page, and let me know what feature you want me to do next. I did one on Muhammad Hassan in January, interviewed him, which is on our YouTube page. Make sure to go subscribe. But I want to know what you all want to hear about. A lot of these situations, I'm learning about the subject just as much as you all are. Like, I didn't know a lot of the stuff that happened to Muhammad Hassan. I didn't know who was for and against the Brawl for All backstage. I didn't know why people pulled out of the Brawl for All. I didn't know who people really thought would win. I didn't know that it was a curtain sellout backstage. Lots of cool stuff that comes from those interviews that I want to know what you all want to know about. So drop me a comment or a tweet, something like that, and I'll see what I can dig up. I try to talk to about between 7 to 10 people for each of these features, which not surprisingly, not a lot of people. There were, well, I don't want to say not a lot of people. There were a lot of people who did not want to be interviewed for the Brawl for All. And to be honest, would you really want to be interviewed about something that results, that it's about you getting knocked out cold? As Bob Holly said, Bradshaw got knocked out colder than a well digger's ass. So needless to say, JBL did not respond to my request for an interview about the Brawl for All. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up. Eva Lise, we've interviewed her. That's going to be up on Tuesday. Very excited about that. She was a pleasure to speak to. Very, very nice lady. And given the Lucha Underground spoilers, I think that her injury came at a terrible time. If you all didn't hear, spoiler alert about the Lucha Underground show, because I know some of you hate the spoilers for that. Sexy Star won the Lucha Underground title. And I feel like they wanted to do it. Now, I don't know how this will play out on TV, because the spoilers often play out much differently than they read, because Lucha Underground is very good at masking that type of stuff. But by all means, it seems like they wanted to do something progressive and something momentous. And Eva Lise was hurt, so she wasn't an option. But I really feel like Eva Lise would have been a much better option. She's a much more sympathetic character, or at least she was last year when she had the broken leg and still competed, or the broken ankle and still competed. She's healing up very nicely from what I'm being told, and is going to be ready to go much sooner than originally planned. But yeah, we have somebody saying, did the Lyoto Machida drug test failure surprise you? A little bit. I'm not surprised by anybody anymore. I don't give anybody the benefit of the doubt like I used to, because of all these failures. I used to give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt, including Anderson Silva. I would have never suspected him of PED use, although me being naive, I should have, because people do not get that good in their mid to late 30s. That is not your prime as a fighter. That does not happen. I see a lot of people who get out of the sport in their late 20s because they can't keep up. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised, because he always seemed like the clean cut type of guy, but ultimately, you know, you can't really judge who's putting what in their system. And a lot of these supplements are over the counter stuff, but that doesn't mean that they're legal. Doesn't mean that they're legal. Somebody says, Sean Sapp, it is the injuries. Look at the age of Machida, Silva, Mir. Hey, I'm with you. A lot of these guys feel like they have to keep up. Here's the thing, guys. If this many people are getting caught now, imagine how many people were on it before. You have to be an idiot to fail a post-fight drug test. You really do, because you know it's coming. You know you're getting tested at the fight or before the fight. But somebody says, why is that not the prime? Makes 30 sound bad. Hey, buddy, I'm 30. I'm 30 as well. And I can tell you from my personal experience of training, I was in my mid 20s, and we had some teens that were starting to get really, really good. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up. And I used to play basketball with a guy who was about 29, 30, and he was really good, former D1 guy. And he would kind of limp up and down the court. And I'm like, what's wrong? You know, he's 29. He's like, I'm beat up. And I'm like, there's no way you're beat up. I can tell you personally, I get it now. I see. And I don't do a percent of what Lyoto Machida, Frank Mir, Anderson Silva do. The toll that these guys take on their body just training. People always say that's one of the things. People are like, oh, they get a one-night payday and it's like 6 figures. No. You cannot get there working one night. You have to train and train and train, and it's really, really overlooked. But yeah, I'm really interested in this Saturday's UFC card. I'm not like on the edge of my seat about it, but it's either going to be really good or really bad, I think. Guys, like I said, please check out the Brawl for All feature. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a positive review there. Of course, check out ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. TrendyButler.com. Use that coupon code wrestling10, all caps. And of course, tweet Trendy Butler. Tweet Jake the Snake. The Resurrection of Jake the Snake account. Tweet DDP and Real DDP Yoga. Or Real DDP is his account, and DDP Yoga is the DDP Yoga account. Let them know that we sent you. Support the Wrestling Inc. podcast, my friends. We will be back Monday after Raw. Please join us. Always fun with Vince Russo. And as we've noticed, WWE started to do a lot of the stuff that we talk about on there. I'm not saying that it's a coincidence or not. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying it's a good show. It's a good show. Follow me on Twitter @Sean Ross Sapp. Thank you guys so much. We are out.